And here's a nice little lovely bonus edition, well, I guess you could say a martini olive, if you will, to go with all the reviews that we just did for Double November. Now, as you've discovered, one of my favorite Bond movies is On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Now, for this little bonus, I wanted to draw your attention to an incredible documentary which is showing on Hulu. It's called Becoming Bond. Now, to call it a documentary may be a bit understating it a smidge. Actually, I'd say if there's any movie I'd kind of associate with it, I'd say American Splendor. Yes, American Splendor. It's 00 Splendor. That's what this movie is. And by that, I mean, while you have the documentary aspect to it, you also have moments with reenactments as portrayed by other actors. But then, most importantly, it's told by George Lazenby. This film actually chronicles the life of George Lazenby when, from his adolescence, leading up to his career as a model, and a lot of his loves and his losses, but then going into what inevitably led to him getting cast as 007, and much to everyone's surprise, most people thought he got fired. Well, this docudrama, actually shows that there were many other factors which led to him deciding not to do another Bond film. And I got to tell you now, if you ever at least had some kind of enjoyment of George Lazenby as Bond, you're probably going to love him even more as a human being in this one. And the thing is, I suppose the thing I was really taken with it was, we'll never really know what truly is true when it comes to documentaries. That's kind of why I try to stay away from them a little too much, because sometimes you never tell if they're going to be over dramatized or if there may have been some things just told from a certain point of view, which you may realize from another way, maybe something different. But this one, I felt a sense of truth to it, a mild sense of truth. But even then, it was so refreshing to see George Lazenby. Actually, he was very self-deprecating in this film. And he narrates this all the way through, but there are moments where you can read it in his eyes, the sense of regret about certain decisions he may have made. Now, not just regarding careers. This movie actually gets into a lot of his loves that he got into, and many that some would even say were the impetus behind him leading up to his modeling career and so on and so forth. There are moments in this one where you see George Lazenby as he's talking about that particular point in his life, and you see him just you see him break up a bit. I admit, I got a little misty-eyed watching it as well, because there was a fine line between fiction and reality. Reality is always weirder than fiction, and in this case, to actually see this portrayed, yes, we see actors portraying these incidents as they occur, but that just ends up lending to Lazenby. It cuts back to Lazenby as he talks about these moments. And on one side, it's really insightful, but in many cases, it's really funny. It's a short documentary. Most documentaries tend to be in the ballpark of an hour and a half, 85 minutes to about an hour 40, something like that. That's this, right down the center. And I was totally invested all throughout. An additional thing that's also fun is in the dramatization sequences is how you have a lot of actors, like some respected actors actually pop up in it. In particular, Jeff Garlin. Most people know from The Goldbergs or Curb Your Enthusiasm, but he's playing one of the producers in it. But it's just a blast seeing these events get portrayed. The actor who is playing the dramatized version of George Lazenby is actually really funny, and a lot of it is very tongue-in-cheek staged. It's not meant to be taken in a realistic sense. There is a kind of stylized nature to it, which makes it a lot of fun to watch. And there's a refreshing amount of humor to it, and some of it very much pointing out the world as it was at that point. So I gotta say, now most documentaries just do footage, interview, footage, interview, director doing footage interviews on location. This one doesn't. And like I said, this one has dramatized sequences combined with the narration by Lazenby himself. So if you really enjoyed the Double November reviews, and if you want to get a little something extra out of this, definitely go on Hulu, watch Becoming Bond. It is an absolute joy for any hardcore Bond fan. And for most people who may have thought Lazenby was okay as Bond, this will lend a lot more insight into what led to him getting cast and what led to him walking out of the role. So that's where I'm going to leave it. I'm going to say it's probably one of my favorite things I've seen this year. Obviously, I'm going to dispense with the serving rating, but I just want to make sure you guys know about it. So I hope you guys really enjoyed Double November. It was a wonderful, painstaking effort to go through. I had a good time reflecting on everything I love about James Bond. As for next year, I actually am interested in hearing what you guys have to say. Would you want me to tackle, I don't know, say, the villains, the girls, the gadgets, the opening title sequences? Leave it in comments below. I may even set up a poll on my Facebook site, or even on Twitter, or on our Instagram. So comment below. I'd love to hear what you guys say. For Christmas, I'm going to be doing a lot of Doctor Who coverage relating to Stephen Moffat and his final hurrah. And also same thing with Peter Capaldi, focusing on Christmas. And also our final year in review. And we'll probably have some more reviews coming up. There's a lot of movies coming out in December, which I'm really stoked to see. Keep it here. Like, share, subscribe. Click. Thou shalt be served.